Hey everyone, welcome back to another episode of The Human Investor. Today we're going to do a follow-up video to the introduction to the M1 Finance portfolio plan I shared in the prior episode. Just to recap, I had planned to open an M1 Finance account and start a bit of a stock picking versus stock index experiment. So what we have up here on the screen is M1 Finance and four different pies I have built. You see here I've got a tech pie which is unused. At one point I started building out pies based on sectors, which I ended up not going that route. What we did do here is we have three pies. The first one, the Human Investor Picks. So this is individual stock holdings that I'm choosing for my portfolio. And then the bottom one here is indexes. So a bit of a correction on previous episode. I specified that I was going to choose an index singular for one pie. Well, this is not exactly the route I went. There actually needs to be 3 holdings per pie. So what we did here is I have a index pie and there are 3 indexes within this pie. If we click on the indexes pie, you can see that I have VTI, which is the total stock market ETF, which is the Vanguard total stock market ETF, VXUS, which is the Vanguard total international stock ETF. And then I went really back and forth on this one, having a little bit of a bond allocation. Right now I have that set for 15%. Not sure what I'll do long term, because on the flip side, of course, we have stock picks, which do not hold bonds right now. But right now how we have this set up is total stock market 70%, total international market 15%, and also 15% on the total world bond market. Now, these 3 funds are going to be half of the portfolio. If we go back to pies here, we also have the Human Investor Picks. So these are my individual stock holdings. Now, the indexes and the picks pies were used to create the portfolio. If we open the portfolio, we can see there's 2 slices to this pie or portfolio. I will keep going back and forth and using those terms interchangeably in the future, because that's the verbiage M1 Finance has chose to use. So really what we have going on here is a pie and sub-pies. They're called slices here within the root, or the THI portfolio is going to be our root. And the slices are actually just the 2 sub-pies. So the indexes and then the stock picks. Now what this is going to do for me, and big reason I chose M1 Finance, is you set target allocations for both the slices and or the pies, and then the individual holdings on each of those. So for example, let's go into the picks. Now, another correction from the last episode, I said I might have 10 or 15 individual stocks. Well, that was not entirely truthful, and I could not help myself, and there are currently 30 holdings. Okay, so now we're getting into the good stuff here. You know, what are my stock picks? What are my biases? And what was the thought process on picking some of these? So what I have here is arguably at least 10 of these could be considered tech companies. And these tech companies that I've chosen, majority of which are small cap companies that I think could have great growth potential. And there's also a play here on some recovery stocks that I'm hoping are going to see some good recovery, appreciation over the next year or so. And hopefully we see a travel and entertainment world come back to what we at least thought was normal before. And then there's also some what many would consider safe plays to balance out the portfolio. The AT&T, Microsoft, Amazon, Apple, Berkshire Hathaway, Walgreens. In the future, we will dive into specifics of some of these companies, why I believe they have a bright future. So heading back to the main portfolio page and summary of M1 Finance here, you can see we funded the account. I transferred $1,000, and we have a current portfolio after one day in the market of $905. So we're up a whole $5.24 one day in the market, which this is, of course, not going to be the focus of what we're doing here. We are interested in long-term investing, not trading, and that's really what M1 Finance is geared towards. You're not going to be in and out of stocks frequently. With the default free account, you're making trades once a day in the morning, and then if you were to purchase the M1 Plus subscription, you would gain access to quite a few other features, including an additional trading window. All right, that's all I've got for today. This was just to be a quick video to summarize what we have executed on to kick off this experiment with M1 Finance and pitting some stock picks against popular broad-based index funds. So this is going to be a long-term experiment. Not sure how long. We'll just see how this goes, see if there's any traction, if this proves to be a solid platform to clearly display the comparison I'm making here, and we'll see if this gets traction. I will be doing updates in the future as to why I'm picking certain stocks, and of course this is all for entertainment purposes, so don't take this as investment advice. All right, that's all I got for today. Thanks, take care.